What would you do if your revenue dropped by 30%? I'm going to share with you what I would do this week. That's the conversation on the podcast. Let's jump in. Well, welcome to Business Growth Blueprint. I'm your host, BJ O'Neill, where we discuss all things profitability, leadership, and culture, specifically for faith-driven business owners, entrepreneurs, and leaders. Now, today's conversation is all about what would I do? All right, so this is going to be one of those, like we have it in the last few episodes here and there, practical, what I would do right now if, right? And that if is if you've seen a significant drop in your revenues. We're using 30% as an arbitrary number. So we're going to treat this a little bit like a miniature coaching session. And maybe it's 2%, 20%, or 50%. Doesn't matter. These strategies are exactly some of, obviously not all, but some of the things that I'm going to encourage you as a business owner to do if it were to happen. Here's why. We've seen this time and time again. As business growth strategists working with hundreds of businesses across the world with our coaching team, where when we see a drop in revenue, especially if it's a consistent drop, like we'll call it a 90 days of a run where we're seeing, we didn't stabilize, we're still falling. These are the things I'm going to sit down. We need to go and get this done and work on these things this week. Now, we're not saying, or I'm not suggesting that all of them are going to be permanent quick fixes. I'm saying we've got the red alert is going off, right? What are we going to do? Well, unfortunately, what a lot of people do is freeze. Or, well, let's just stay the course, which sometimes that might be true. You go through 2 or 3 weeks of just a thing cycle. That can happen. But once we hit around the 90-day period, we're seeing the same thing. It's time to, before that really, 60 would be even better. It's time to start to take action. Freezing is not going to solve the problem, right? So when we look at what would the Bible say, right, to this scenario? And if you look at Proverbs 21:5, the plans of the diligent lead to profit, as surely as haste leads to poverty. What's this meaning? Well, if we work through things, if we may build our plans, we make our plans, yes, we're going to give God the absolute room to do it the way He wants. This is His business. We're going to turn it over to Him, but He's entrusting this with us right now. This is, by far, He's saying, hey, I'm going to give you this opportunity. You're going to make the best decisions with it, if best you can, even though that we're fallible because we live in a fallen world. But we're still going to do our best. So sitting, doing nothing, sitting on the edge of our chair and watching, the cars go by and watching the clouds go by isn't going to solve anything. Being actionable and working through our plans is stewardship, okay? That's the biblical kind of guidance. All right, so we're going to jump in and walk through step-by-step framework to just kind of say, here's what I would do this week if I was going to help you. Number 1, stabilize cash. All right. If we're watching the lag go down over a short period of time, we got to start figuring out some ways we can stabilize our cash. Now, here's the mistake that a lot of people make. I did this back in the day when I didn't know any better. We go out and we're like, well, we got to spend more money on marketing. Now, there may be some isolated scenarios that might be true, maybe, but usually not necessarily, okay? Because if things are broken in the business, and here's one for you that's contrarian, look at this, perhaps some of the things that you've decided are causing revenues to drop. That's a challenging one to swallow, right? Well, if you go out and spend more money in marketing and advertising, you're just feeding a broken problem. We don't want to do that, right? So number 1, stabilize cash. How? Well, you have a set of past customers that are not buying from you right now. If we have no communication with them, there's potentially opportunity sitting in our past customers. Now, here's where people get mixed up with this. They're like, okay, we have a couple of hundred past customers, but if only a few of them are going to do anything. Look, everything in life is about percentages. If you're a fan of baseball, right, You're an absolute amazing player if you're averaging 30%. In other words, I'm going to swing the bat 10 times, I'm going to hit it 3. That on its surface, it sounds like that's not great. No, it is. It is in that sport, especially if you stay there and you average it and you even improve that. You're probably in the top percentages of ball players. Business is the same way. We're looking in small different areas and just looking for percentage lifts, small ones, 3, 5, 8% of a lift inside that strategy. So what are we going to do? Well, we can call them and make some offers. It could be maintenance. It could be add-ons. It could be quick wins. You're like, what do you mean? Well, let's use, for simplicity, landscaper. You've got past customers. You don't know what they need or what they don't need. You don't know what's happened, right? If I pick up the phone and I offer to refresh, their flower beds, to cut down trees, whatever. If I've got 100 past customers, there's a good chance I might get 10%, 15% of them to take me up on some type of offer or not. And there's a number of ways that you can work through the offers. But that's an example. Think about what that could do. That's where we start to stabilize cash. I'm not spending any more money. I've just got some time, either picking up the phone, sending some text or some DMs with past customers, making them an offer. So a landscaper could do a seasonal refresh. A roofer could do an inspection of some site. Maybe you did a roof. See, here's where people lose track. Let's say that I did a new roof on a customer 5 years ago. And now you may think, and I know that the roofers out there, if you own one, you're like, this is not the way you do it. Bear with me. Let's say you installed that new roof. You want to go inspect it. Why would I inspect a roof that, first of all, you don't know what storm has come around. Crazy thing happens. Bigger than that, though. I want to go talk to them, get on their roof, and see if I can get a chance to have a conversation with their neighbors. That's the reason why I would want to do that. Restaurants, promo to pass, that's an easy one. If you're not spending a diligent effort of time on getting people's emails and their phone numbers, you should. So if you're a restaurant, free dessert, free kids meal with a purchase of. I mean, we see this all the time. Why do you see it all the time? Because it works. It absolutely works. So if you're not active with utilizing any type of promotional effort to past customers, you've got opportunity. Number 2. So that's number 1, stabilizing cash through past customers. Number 2, activate warm leads, okay? It's people who have inquired. They didn't buy, and they went cold. If I had $1 for every single time we've sat down with a business owner and asked to see their leads in their CRM, because they're complaining, I don't have enough customers, I don't have enough leads, we'll go into their CRM, their system, whatever it looks like. Typically 90% of the time it's super messy, it's very unorganized. We'll look in there and they've not been active at all with people that like they either think that they definitely haven't. So we want to just simply say, hey, are you still looking to solve X problem? Now, depending upon your industry, you may not, if you're a pizzeria, you're probably not going to talk like that. However, if you are a pizzeria, I am going to say, hey, what are you doing Friday night? How are you going to feed the family Friday? That's a problem. People think about it all the time. They've likely have done meal prep of some level throughout the week. They want to go out and enjoy a meal as a family, especially with small kids, have some entertainment around that. Well, that's a great way to be able to reach out to them, to warn people that maybe you haven't really been active about staying in front of them, which, by the way, you should. Number 3, increase your average ticket. In other words, every single customer that you are serving, this is a big one. Every single customer that you are serving, figuring out if the average, I'm just arbitrary number here, if the average is $100, how do I make that $125? How do I make it that $135, $150? What would I do? Well, 1, bundles. If you offer multiple levels of services and goods and products, creating values-driven, values-based bundles, that makes it really almost impossible for an individual to say no. All right, so bundles. Number 2, different than just bundles, is upsells. I've used this story many times. And for fun, I wait to see if they do it every single time I go in there. And I share it on this podcast all the time. The place that we get our dog food from is a local. They have, I think, 4 or 5 locations here in Nashville. It's a local pet products company. And here's what happens. Every single time I go in there, I'm buying the same product. When I get to the register, without fail, they will have something sitting to the right or the left of the register, and that employee will say, hey, by the way, we have XYZ bones or whatever. And if you really notice, they've got some dog stuff there, they have some cat stuff there, and some other things, because obviously dogs and cats are going to be the main thing that people come in for. But every single time I've been offered an additional product when I buy the dog food. Every time. Why? Naturally and statistically, 34% of customers, when presented with, would you also like, say yes. Okay? This is the McDonald's version of, would you like fries with that? Now, if you're on the younger side of life, you know nothing different than a combo meal. But back in the day, before there were combo meals, and this is where overnight McDonald's improved their bottom line by 30%, literally within a matter of no time. Why? Would you like fries with that? So, bundle things together. Find ways to also ask, would you also like? Do you need? Would this be of value to you? Premium options. Premium. In other words, if this is your normal amount of things that you do, what are you doing to offer a premium? There are a lot of people who would say yes to a VIP, higher end option. Again, we look at 100 customers. And you may say, well, our average amount, we serve a lot of people who, they're, in the middle of the road, what, it doesn't matter. Well, they're presented. If 2 or 3 people say yes to your premium option, and you're able to, throughout the month, add an additional $2,000, $3,000, $4,000. This is what we mean by, adding a 2% lift, a 3% lift, or whatever. This is how it's done. What premium option do you offer? Number 1. Number 2, are you active in making the offer? We'll see it all the time where business, I don't want to be pushy or whatever. This is about being pushy. You need to look at it from a place of service, because somebody out there needs the premium offer and can afford the premium offer, and they want the premium offer. But if you don't offer it to them, they didn't get a chance to be served in the way that they really want to be served, okay? And then faster turnarounds. This is you go to Disney World or any park like this, there is an upcharge for the opportunity to get the fast pass. Tell me or ask me how I know, right? At this point, we just basically won't go to a park like that without getting a premium add-on. Why? Well, I avoid lines. It's solving a problem. Now, does everybody do it? No. A percentage of people to do it, okay? So that's how you can increase your average ticket. Last, daily visibility. I mean, I can't tell you how many times it's like, so what's the plan and the process of getting visibility? Well, what do you mean? Like, what are we doing here on a consistent basis to be seen, to be heard, to be known? And then there's basically crickets, right? And so this is a simple one. Again, we're talking about what I would do this week. And clearly we can sit down and draft out a 3-6 year plan that improves this, cleans it up, gets it better. But we're talking about we are in the clay and in the ground, just getting our fingers dirty, improving this 30% loss that we've had. We're in triage mode, right? So on social media, it's posting daily, and what we're going to have here soon. Everything's shifted with social media, the way it used to be. We'll talk about that. Post daily, post frequently, but not about just your promotions. It is about visibility and becoming known. Number 2, your email list. Oh, I don't want to bother people. Nope. You need to be frequent 2 or 3 times a week. That's depending upon what you're emailing, but you got to be frequent with your outreaches, that there's value in what you offer in different ways. And then here is the big one. Now, you really want to make a difference, make a dent in that 30%. You're the business owner. I don't care what industry you're in. When you begin to reach out personally, I don't have enough time. We're in triage mode. You make time. When you begin to do 2 things, picking up the phone, thanking current customers, deepening trust. Number 2, picking up the phone, engaging with past customers. And here's what we're doing. We're getting great data and great feedback. And in some of those conversations, some of them are going to go, I'm glad you called because I need, boom, there's your opportunity, right? And it shows, the business owners never reached out and talked before. That's a rarity. It's going to help improve all things. Here's the principle. Revenue problems are usually activity plus focused problems, okay? And so don't wait for the business to come back. Go create it. Get active. The plans of the diligent lead to profit. I don't care if it feels clunky. We tried that one. It doesn't work. Doesn't matter. Keep moving. Figure it out. Tweak it. You'll get there. Might not be in the timeline that you want. We ask God's provision. We ask Him to guide our footsteps. We ask Him for wisdom. I'm making this decision. I've got 3 different choices. Which is the wisest of the 3? Get active. Get motivated. Staring at your P&L. Staring at your P&L and watching it drop and doing nothing is a great way to go out of business. You got to get in there and just give it your all. It's clunky. I don't care if it's messy. Who cares? But I promise you, we see it all the time. Those who are serious about being active and just figuring it out, even when some are working, some are not, they're the ones who survive, stabilize, and get ready, grow. I hope this has meant something to you, even if you're in a season of provision. Things cycle through. We see it all the time. We're going great. All of a sudden it's not. I pray that this message, this idea has really spoke to you, added value to you. Until next time, take care. Hey, thank you so much for joining me here at Business Growth Blueprint. And I want to invite you to our next episode, and make sure you subscribe so you never, ever miss any episodes of Business Growth Blueprint.
Access more